and you're watching GVTV News.
And I'm Randy Hansen in this new 10-minute sample of our 30-minute news that you can see in www.gvtv.org or gvtelevision.com for full version daily. We also have free podcasts through iTunes for you iPod, iPhone, your iPod, iPhone, and other handheld devices. In today's local headlines, McClintock's spending plan won't work, and tenant allegedly fights off burglars. In our first story, all we ever wanted was an apology, said Darren Randall. Instead, the Grass Valley dad finds himself in the center of controversy that has attracted national attention. Local lawyer Troy Vahidi, with the help of the ultra-conservative Pacific Justice Institute, filed suit last October. It was amended late January against the Nevada City School District on behalf of the Randalls, alleging the school counselor forced their 12-year-old daughter, identified in court as CR, to take a pregnancy test. The Randalls say that Steve Davis, a counselor at Seven Hills Middle School, pulled CR out of class on several occasions to ask her about rumors she was pregnant, then forced her to take a pregnancy test. The lawsuit alleges the incident violated her rights to privacy and inflicted emotional distress and asked for specified damages. The school district, however, maintains the school has never kept pregnancy tests on school grounds. The Randalls say the incident came to light when their daughter started refusing to go to school. CR confided with her sister, who in turn told her parents that some other students were making fun of her for having to take a pregnancy test. He didn't really ask her, said CR's mother, Regina. He told her she would get in trouble if she didn't. Darren Randall said they went to the school and talked to the school's principal, Joe Lemove. He said he looked into it, but they did it, and it was for her safety, Randall said. I never got a call back. Randall said then she turned to district superintendent, Roger Steele. He said I was misunderstanding, Randall said, but I never got an apology. But once the lawyers became involved, the pressure on their daughter just grew worse, her parents said. Before this, she was on the honor roll every year, Darren Randall said. Then it was, she's a bad student, she won't pay attention. CR started getting singled out for her clothing and her behavior, the Randall said, to the point of harassment. A teacher allegedly told CR's class at one point that the lawsuit was impacting the school financially. After their daughter walked out of class because she was being teased, she was suspended for defying school authority, the Randalls added. And they allege the story that their daughter had been forced to take a pregnancy test spread. We'll keep you updated on what happens on this case. In another local story, a tenant at an apartment complex in Broken Oak Court allegedly fought off two men who had broken into his apartment Friday night, stabbing one of them. Nevada County Sheriff's deputies were called out to the disturbance in an apartment at 11:15 p.m. Friday and found the front door forced open and blood throughout the apartment, according to Sheriff Keith Royal. The resident told deputies that he was asleep and was awakened by the sound of the front door being forced open. Two men attacked him, he said. He was able to fight them off, stabbing one of them. The two men then allegedly fled. Investigators were able to identify two men in connection with the attack. Fred Arza Smith, 52, and Jonathan Arza Smith, 28, were arrested on suspicion of criminal conspiracy and burglary. Both men have been released on $25,000 bail. And that's it for our local news today.
Now is the time to get down.
That's right, it's time for the police blotter, and the pictures in the blotter are not from these actual events, but used for visual aid only. Grass Valley Police Department on Friday 4:42 p.m., a caller from the 300 block of North Star Place reported someone was threatening a man with a baseball bat. 7:54 p.m., a woman from West Main Street and Forest Glades Circle reported someone threw snowballs at her vehicle. 9:50 p.m., a caller from Hughes Road reported a driver doing donuts. 11:08 p.m., a man from business on 100 block of Mill Street reported 15 members of the Vagos Club tried to start trouble and were thrown out of a business. The man was arrested on suspicion of being a felon in possession of a firearm. And Saturday, 12:37 a.m., a woman from the 300 block of 2nd Street reported a man was pounding on the door and demanding to be let in. 2:04 a.m., a caller from a business on the 100 block of South Auburn Street reported dropping a credit card that an employee gave to someone else. 10:25 a.m., a caller from a 100 block of Appleton Street reported 2 green Burton snowboards. It's Burton snowboards were stolen. 5:13 p.m., a woman from 13,000 block of Ranchero Way reported a man who was drunk was trying to break into her home. And there you have it today for the blotter. In today's world headlines, civilian deaths in Afghanistan soar in 2008. And Holbrook says India, Pakistan face serious threat. In today's first story, the United Nations has announced the number of civilians killed in Afghanistan last year jumped by nearly 40% as the violence in the country soared to its worst level since 2001. There was over 2,100 reported civilian deaths. The UN said militants were to blame for the 55% of the deaths, while U.S.-led forces were responsible for nearly 40%. Meanwhile, 3,000 more U.S. troops have arrived in Afghanistan, marking the first wave of an expected surge of the U.S. forces as part of President Obama's plan to escalate the war in Afghanistan. Richard Holbrooke, Obama's special envoy to South Asia, said Monday that India and Pakistan face one of the most serious security threats since the end of the British rule 62 years ago, as Islamist militants advanced towards Islamabad, the capital of Pakistan. Holbrooke's comments came after the Pakistani government announced that it would allow Islamic or Sharia law to be imposed in the Swat Valley region as part of the peace accord with the Taliban. The Swat Valley is located just 155 miles northwest of Islamabad. On Sunday, Pakistani President al-Zardari admitted the Taliban was now present in huge amounts in Pakistan, and now we would like to thank and that's it for our day. Now we'd like to thank our underwriters. Grass Valley Blues has moved to the rear of the same building, and we still are here. Xbox, PS2, PS3, Xbox 360, Wii, Nintendo, DS, PSP, and PC games, DVDs, CDs, records, tapes, memorabilia, toys, rock and roll, blue jeans, 501s, and women's and men's new and used clothing. We have a little of everything. Warning, this is GVTV News Teapot Alert. This is not news, but a commentary of great importance. It has no affiliation of the news, but this is commentator's opinion only. Obamanism. It's the newest trend, and it is on fire around the planet. Barack Hussein Obama, our new president, will fix everything, or so they say. But the first item pushed through is going to cost us $3 trillion, and though it's called a stimulus bill, it's really just a spending bill. Bah humbug.